Welcome back, everybody, to the Prescriber Truth Podcast right here on YouTube at youtube.com/prescribe truth. I'm your host, Jamal Bandy. If this is your first time watching me on YouTube, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to the side so you can be notified when I have new content. If you listen to this on your podcast apps, please remember to leave a rating and a review. This helps me out a lot. If you'd like to support the show financially, you can do so by partnering with me on Patreon at patreon.com/prescribe truth. Anywhere from $1 and up really helps this out a lot. If not, I appreciate your prayers. If you want to get in contact with me, you can do so by emailing me at prescribe.truth@gmail.com, or you can call me, leave a voicemail at 801-980-6333. Today's show, I am not going to be long. I already said that I'm going to do this at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes. If it goes longer than that, then I have failed that. I'm trying my best not to be long. We're going to discuss what is social justice. What is social justice? Reason why I want to discuss this is because I've been hearing all this commentary on both sides about social justice, gospel, and everything else. And people are talking past each other. They're not meeting. And the reason why is because we have a problem with definitions. Yes, definitions. What is social justice? Can we answer that question? Anybody have a clue? If you ask the side who advocates for social justice, they keep saying justice. Every time there's an argument, justice. My fellow Christian brothers, they don't understand justice. They're not for justice. And we're saying, no, it's not justice we have a problem with. It's social justice. That is the issue. So now we have to define this, because I've heard people on that side who say, well, justice is social. I mean, when you deal with people and there are injustices that happen, these are done socially. So I actually listened to a video from a guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he was actually defining it. He was doing a video and he said, hey, you know what? Social justice is gospel centered, A, B, and C, because social means blank, 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 and then justice means blank, blank, blank. And I was like, huh. And he looked in the dictionary for these definitions, the Merriam-Webster dictionary for social and then justice. But I wonder, has he looked in the definition for social justice, all one? It's just the phrase itself. Has he looked in the Merriam-Webster dictionary for that definition? It's in there. That definition is talking about having people having equal scales across the board, equal outcome, not just opportunity, but equality across the board. So that's the whole issue with social justice. Not that people do you wrong and nobody's doing anything about it and everything else, but the whole issue about social justice, or how it's defined, is dealing with income inequalities. You know, this was an ideology that people should have like equal income, equal outcome across the board. You know, there's the whole disparity is that there are people who have more than others. So that's an issue. They consider that to be a social justice problem because people have more than others. Call it disparity. And so they count that as being evil. And we live in a capitalist society. So they push for communism. That's what that is. So when you speak of social justice, you're actually saying you want communism. You want everybody to have the same. You know, there's nobody having more than another. And basically that'll never happen. If somebody will always have more than somebody else. So disparity is not necessarily a wrong thing or a bad thing. It's something that just happens when it comes, especially concerning income. And so now, when we talk about justice, somebody doing something wrong, let's discuss that for a second. What does it mean to be just? What is justice? And I see Christians giving all kind of scripture concerning justice in the Bible, and this big theme of justice in the scriptures. Yes, but whose justice? God's justice, not our justice, not how we define justice, how God defines justice. That's the issue. And God defines justice by his law that he gave, because he's the lawgiver. And so he knows what's considered unjust. And he gives us what we know to be just. So that's all in his framework. We don't get to make that up. And so concerning injustices, Christians, we should stand together. We do stand together. for all these things. But when you talk about social justice, you're no longer talking about the justice that God sets the standard for. You're talking about ideologies that men set the standard for, and not just any men, but men who aren't following God, who aren't following Christ, or any of those things. You look through all the scriptures, you're always going to see people who have more than others, always. And you never saw where that was considered an injustice, where that had to be something that was fixed or A, B, and C. Like none of that, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But here now we see that as an injustice. So in this whole narrative, blacks aren't making as much as whites and so on and so forth. And people are trying to group everybody under this whole blanket versus dealing with things individually. Like, okay, well, what's the status of that white person if you want to go there? Like, well, how much experience do they have? What's the skill level? What's the skill set of the black individual? You know, what's their experience level? How many years? So on and so forth. Are they completely equal in everything? It just boils down to the color of their skin. Is that the case every time? There's no way for you to know that. Now, is there some instance where there's some racism somewhere? Yeah, maybe. Maybe we can argue that. That's fine. But to make it this whole big narrative as if this is the only thing that's happening, I'm sorry, man. It puts us in a bad place. And honestly, as a black man, it's kind of offensive because it's basically saying, hey, I can't get nowhere in life because I'm basically always being paranoid based on my color of my skin versus, man, knowing that, hey, I actually can do something. I can go to school. I can, so I can get experience in everything. I can do these things. I have the ability to do things. By God's grace, I can go out and get the job that makes the big bucks if I do the work. I can do the work. But as they say, well, no, you might as well don't do that because it's gonna boil down to the color of your skin. So you might as well just stay where you are. Like that's discouraging. You know. But yeah, because there are blacks who have big bucks. There are blacks who own property, who do everything else. Like, where's the issue? But they make it an issue. They make it about race, and it's called conflict theory. That's what it is. In order to push for this communist society, there must be conflict, and the conflict is the disparity. And so therefore they make issues out of things that are not as big as they're making it seem. If that makes any sense, I hope it does. But yeah. So that's what we're talking about now. Now, as we go forward, I'm gonna do more videos dealing with social justice. I'm reading. I don't have it in front of me. I'm reading Eric Mason's book, Woke Church, right now, and I'm on the third chapter, and it is so much on that I want to discuss. So much, and but I'm gonna have to take my time with it because I want to be able to break it down for you guys, and hopefully be helpful for you. But when it comes to social justice, we need to be clear on a definition. If you don't mean social justice as the communist way, as speaking for communism, then why not just say justice? And then we all can agree. Because you're talking about justice as far as people being wronged, like truly unjustly wronged, and therefore, there's things that should be made right, or we should stand up for that, or stick up for that, or say something on that. Where there's racism, we should be speaking up against it. Where people are doing people wrong, treat them unfairly, we should be speaking up for that. But don't make issues over stuff that ain't really issues. Like social justice in that way. No, we should not be pushing for that. No, that is not what we should be pushing for. That's not what we should be concerned with as Christians. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and so and for those out there, briefly before I end this, if we're standing for justice on this side, say if somebody's standing for justice for the unborn babies who are being called things and its, and they're not considered humans in some people's minds, and we're standing up for them, that's that's doing our call as a Christian as well, just as well as you standing up and saying something against racial injustice on the workforce, and so on and so forth. We're all doing the work, and we're all glorifying God for that. So because you're not at the abortion mill at that point, nobody's saying that you're not doing the will of the Lord. So therefore, in turn, if everybody's not doing what you're doing out there in the corners, then you can't be saying that people ain't doing the will of God because you don't know that, and that's wrong. That won't be fair. So remember, this world is full of errors, and that's all I want to say on that. Not gonna go deeper into that or deeper into that. We're gonna continue on, and we're gonna continue on from there. We got more videos, more topics gonna come on from there. But this world is full of errors, Marxism is an error. Communism is an error. Social justice, in that sense, as it's defined, is an error. And so, yeah, that's it. I can't beat that dead horse no more in this video. Remember, you're welcome to comment. You're welcome to hit me up or talk to me about it if you disagree. Open to that. Trust me, I won't be snarky, any of that kind of stuff. I want to talk about it. We need to be talking about this as Christians. We need to be talking about this. We do. So, that being said, thank you once again for tuning in to Prescribing Truth Podcast. I know this was short. Please remember to check out more videos of Prescribing Truth on the side and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, in a world full of errors, the only thing the doctor prescribes is truth. Blessings.